Okay.
Cameo! Right? Cameo!
Thursday. We're starting live on YouTube. Okay. So I am going to give you a tour of my garden. Since it says I have 0 people watching right now, I'm live. I'm going to give it just a minute to get some people on here. So for those of you that will be joining me, we are supposed to get hail tonight. So I am going to show you a tour of my garden, hopefully before it ends up being destroyed by hail. It's really nice here. It's June in Colorado, and yay, I have 1 person watching. I'm stalling just a few minutes because it takes it a little bit of time to get caught up. And we've been having nice thunderstorms every weekend, so I haven't had to water much, which I really appreciate. I have been working on my garden for the last about 5 years. We've been at this house, and it's finally getting to the point where it's taking care of itself mostly. I mean, I do some, but it's mostly taking care of itself. So I am going to just jump right in because, sorry guys, I'm trying to read and do things while I'm doing this. So I'm going to jump right in, and I'm going to start with my garden, and I'm going to show you a tour of my garden. I hope you like it. I like looking at other people's gardens, so I thought, well, maybe you guys might too. So we're going to start back here. So right here, those are my potatoes and my onions. We got that fence box right down there. When we put up this white fence, they all came in the fence boxes. And so I used the fence boxes for my compost piles and used them as square foot gardening beds. So I've used tons. I saved all of them from our neighbors putting up their fences. So I have about, I don't know, probably 20 of these things that I use for everything. Now you can see all my larkspur. Those just came up randomly. I took my larkspur over to compost. Apparently the seeds fell. Well, now I can't bear to let them go, so I'm going to let them bloom. Here, oh, just so you know, on my potatoes over here, I'm going to be putting wood chips on top of them. So I hope that will work. I'm going to give it a try. I haven't really done this before, so I'm going to give it a try and see how it goes. So, this, I hope you can see. This is my lamb's ear. And then down here, you can see all my dianthus and my flax, and my iris just stopped. But all these dianthus I got for a penny 2 years ago when Walmart was getting rid of a bunch of plants, and I got 5 truckloads of free plants. See all these white salvia here? All those were free. Well, not free, but they were a penny. And I got 5 pickup loads. I got about 5,000 plants that I put in my garden that year. And it really helped with the soil because the soil is really bad around here. So I just started edging my garden with all these dianthus. And a few have died out, but for the most part, most of them have stayed so far. So I'm really excited. You can see all my bindweed. I'm getting ready to take care of that again. I spray about once every 2 or 3 weeks to try and get it under control, and then I don't usually have to spray much after that. I'm going to take a second here, see if there's any comments. Hello from Puerto Rico. Yay! There's someone from Puerto Rico. How cool. Owalda? I'm not sure how to say your name, but thanks for watching. Okay, so over here, my peonies over here. Those are my grandmother's. about the neighbor's dogs. It's a never-ending battle around here with the neighbor dogs. And you can see my arbor. Can you see my arbor here? Let's see. Let me get over here and see if I can. Yeah. So here's my arbor that Mike made me for my birthday 3 years ago. And I just love arbors. And I was just sick. We left some beautiful arbors in Kansas that I just loved, that I made with some old windows. And so I asked Mike to make this for me for my birthday, so he did. So I was super excited about that. You can see he put in a really nice path. I've let the Johnny jump. I mean, a weed is a flower out of place, so I've tried to, I pretty much let flowers grow wherever they end up from the birds and such, because I just love them. Here's all my strawberries. And I just interdispersed my strawberries throughout everywhere, but you can see down here, oh dear, got slugs. I'm gonna have to do something about that. They're eating my strawberries. But, we've had so much rain, which I'm not complaining about, but it's making the slugs eat my strawberries. Ooh, look at that one. Isn't that pretty? Yay. So it looks like we get to start hunting for strawberries again. I'm super excited. Oh, it tastes good. So here you can see all my daisies and my columbines. These were my great-grandmother's plants. The columbines were, let's see, the columbines, the phlox back there, which aren't blooming yet. And then this big rose bush right over here. It was on my great-grandmother's ranch that she started in 1920. And so she's had that plant for almost 100 years. And I got a start of it about, let's see, 7 or 8 years ago when she died. I got a start from her house. And so I was able to take that as a memory of her. It's always been a really pretty plant that I've always loved. And I'm not a big fan of roses, but that one's more sentimental than anything. So I went ahead and took it. You can see over here, I've got more dianthus and my blue flax. And let's see, over here's my Live Forever. I've got some lilies going. Aren't my blue flax pretty? They only bloom in the morning, but there's some of my blue flax. They're kind of hard to start from plants, but they're pretty easy to start from seeds. So I just sprinkle seeds around and hope that they'll come up more. They're a really pretty spring plant. Then over here, let's see, I have more dianthus. This is the last part of the garden we started because the neighbors didn't want to put up the fence. So we just got it put in, was it last year, I think? Or maybe it was the end of the year before. So actually last year was the first year. So this section here I'm just really working on. Then over here I have my little table and chairs that I got for $20 at a yard sale. I ran out of pink paint, so I just painted the top halves of everything. I'll need to finish painting it one day, but I thought, well, I'll just do it like that for now. Looks kind of eclectic, I guess. Here is my, let's see, can you see this one? This is my old galvanized pans, my colanders. I love old flea market gardening. I found a website called Flea Market Gardening, and I just love it. I use pretty much anything I can plant in, I do. Shoes, baskets, I mean, whatever I plant in it. So this is what I look at straight out my kitchen window. So that's why I have those there, so I can enjoy them. Then if you look down here, I have all of my more dianthus. A lot of these, all these dianthus were from that penny sale that I had. And then right here I have some blueberries, and here I have some blueberries, and I'm actually eating blueberries this year. Colorado is really hard for growing blueberries, so I didn't know if I would do it. And then over here I have another galvanized bucket. Then last year I had a whole bunch of morning glories blowing up there, and it looks like they're starting again, so I'll probably have morning glories in a couple, I don't know, a month or so. Then over here I have my topsy-turvy bucket garden, galvanized bucket garden, and I did all purple and white this year. My daughter got me the flowers for Mother's Day, which was very nice. And this we can look out of our kitchen window, so I really love this garden. That over there is my great-grandmother's lilac bush. We're still waiting for it to bloom. It hasn't bloomed for years. I don't know that it's ever bloomed for me, so I'm starting to think maybe I'll take it out. It's sentimental, but at the same time, if it's not going to bloom, I don't just need greenery there. I like flowers. I prefer flowers. I'm going to take just a second, check and see if we have any comments here. Hello from Florida. All right, thanks for joining me. I'm glad you're here. Let's see, back to my, okay, so here's my old kitchen sink that I picked up on the side of the road. Okay, that's very weird. My drip irrigation is starting to go off and I have no idea why. So here's my old kitchen sink. We pulled over on the side of the road and I saw it sitting there and I yelled at Mike, oh, we gotta get that. So he very patiently got it for me. An old screen door we had at our other house. It's not old, it's a plastic screen door, so it's actually new, but it didn't fit on this house, but I loved it. Here is my table with all more galvanized buckets, and this is our kitchen window, so I can see it straight out my kitchen window, which I really love looking at that every day. Then over here, I've just got a bunch of flowers. All the iris have just stopped, so now it looks like my cone flowers are getting ready to come up, and we'll do those probably in a week or so. And then here's an old an old fountain that my cousin was getting rid of, and so she had already thrown away the top, which I was just sick about, but she let me have the bottom, and that sucker is heavy. Mike was not happy when I announced I wanted that. But he very lovingly got it for me. Him and my cousin helped drag it over. Here is all my tomatoes. I put them in pots this year. I have about 1,800 square feet of garden, but I don't have any vegetable garden, really. I put all my vegetables in pots just because I find it's easier to take care of them. So I put them all in pots. And then over here I have more pots. Here's my old basket my mom rescued for me. I love it. She got that from her neighbor, I think, if I remember right. So I put some tomatoes in there this year. In my old pan, there's some peppers and a weed. And these big planters, these big square, these ones right here, I got those for the penny sale too, and I got those filled with flowers for a penny, and I got about 20 of those too. So now I just reuse the pots. I really like them. There's my son's solar panel set up. He made his room off-grid all by himself. Here's my old stove and then some old pots that I have some of my plants in. And of course more tomatoes. I used to grow morning glories, and you can see some seeds coming up, but I think I'm just going to let the tomato go this year there. Then we'll walk over here, and here's some more plants from my penny pots that I saved and I'm reusing. I'm going to give you a view here so you could see kind of perspective. So there's my garden over there, the big part of it, just so you can kind of see a little bit of a perspective. I hope this is showing up all right. There you go. Then there's the fort for the kids. Here's my garden shed, which we did a video on that, so you guys can go back and look at that. Then on the side here, we've got project wood that we're using for different projects around the yard and stuff. But I planted a garden here, and I put in this rock path. Mike had his ankle surgery, so the boys and I did it ourselves. It was a job. But this is kind of the working area, and this table is going over to my neighbors. But here's my clothesline. And so I put all these flowers under my clothesline with stepping stones, and I just love them. And then over there is our wood pile for our fire pit wood. Okay, I'm going to see if there's any other questions real quick before I head to the front yard. Let's see. Hello from California. Hey, California and Delaware. Thank you, Princess Bella. I appreciate it. Thank you, Vintage Crystalline. Crystalline? I don't know how you say that. Okay. So now, going into the front yard, and I hope this is looking okay. I can't tell. So here's my front yard. Let me come over here to give you a better view. So right over here I have a great big hydrangea that I brought from Kansas with us. There's my son waving at me. Can you see my wheelbarrow? There's my wheelbarrow. And then here is my front garden, which really isn't blooming yet. We're just getting stuff up here in Colorado, so it's finally just starting. There's my front porch with my gnomes, my old door. Yes, those are fake flowers in the planters on the rail. It was just too hard to keep them watered. They wouldn't stay going, so I thought, oh, forget it. I'm just going to put fake ones in there. Then, here's an old chair. I haven't got it planted yet that I got out of the dumpster. Didn't have a seat, so I made it into a planter. Here's our Killam sign that I made. It is an old rock from my grandparents. I stayed at my great-grandparents' house out in the country, and they had an old barn that was falling down. And this was one of the rocks from that. They built a lot of stuff out of the sandstone down there because there's no trees in southeastern Colorado. So I swiped this a few years ago from the fallen down barn and put our name on it and used, that's auto paint. Actually, my grandfather came up with the idea to use auto paint, and it stayed on because my paint kept chipping off. So I thought that was a great idea. So then over here, you can see my garden under my tree. And if you guys have any questions, post them in there and I will try and get them answered for you. And I got all those grasses for $1 last year. That was 3 grasses, and I divided them up. And now this year they're starting to really look pretty. But those are more dianthus from my penny dianthus. And I think, oh, that bench there. See my bench? My bench I got from the neighbors that were moving. I need to throw a coat of stain on it, but I just thought it was too cute. I couldn't resist. And then that bird bath was left at one of the houses from the former owners, and I've just been dragging it around with me. So that is a tour of my garden, and you can see in my garage there. Let's see. Do we have any questions? Do you have a rain barrel or ideas for making one expensively? Well, Tiffany asked that question. So, Tiffany,
Mom, is it colder out there than in here?
Probably it's about the same.
Hi, peeps.
There's David.
Hi.
Say hi, Dave.
You can't see me, but
He's in the office. I do not have a rain barrel, but we are probably going to get one because it wasn't allowed in Colorado. It was actually, let me get a better view here. It was actually illegal in Colorado to have rain barrels, which is nuts. But yeah, water rights is a real big problem here in Colorado. And so they didn't allow it for a long time. Now this August, sorry guys, I'm sitting on a rock. Now they are allowing them, so we're thinking about getting them. And quite frankly, we were thinking about getting them anyway, even if they weren't allowed because, well, you know, we're rebels. So I have seen plans to make them inexpensively. You get like a trash bucket or a trash can, and you just get a spigot and put it on the bottom, and then you can use it to water your garden. So I'm thinking about doing that. Just look up online. I don't know where. I don't know what I think I typed in cheap rain barrel or free rain barrel or something like that. So Tiffany, you might just Google that and see. Does anyone else have any questions before I sign off? So that's my garden. Just so you know, I have a huge garden, but I spend probably around, give or take, not including water. So my water bill goes up to about $250, $200 to $250 a month in the summer here. But our normal water bill is just slightly over $100. We have 7 people in our family that are always taking showers, and even conserving, we still can't get it below that. So, other than water, I only spend probably $25 maybe a year on garden stuff. Stuff like the rocks. See, like these rocks right here. Ta-da! Okay, so things like that. I asked for birthday presents because my birthday's in July. So I asked for gardening stuff for birthday presents. So I don't count that for my amount. But even at that, they still spend about $50 to $75 on plants for my annual planters and stuff like that. But as far as fertilizer and stuff like that goes, I get a lot of it cheap at the Restore, the thrift store, garage sales. I buy most of my chemicals that way, and so I can get them for really cheap or inexpensive. I've put in the description below 10 gardening tips. I put a link to that, and I put a link also to how to get free or really super cheap plants also to our website. So be sure to go check those out because we have some really good tips. I'm going to do a video on free or cheap garden plants probably next week maybe, and that'll help. Tiffany, you're welcome. I hope that helps. Does anyone else have any other questions? Let's see, where was I going to say? Fun looking, Vintage says, fun looking at your garden. I know you're educated in landscape and horticulture, so you must be proud. Super to get things at free or bargain. Thank you. I did go to school for greenhouse management and landscape design. Gardening's my passion. I took a botany class in high school, and after that I just became addicted. It was funny because I was like the person that had grown the most things in that botany class ever. I mean, I maybe had 250 plants in the greenhouse, and all the other kids had like 5. So I knew botany was my thing, and horticulture was my thing then. I got sick with chronic fatigue syndrome, and I couldn't work, but I did go to school for that, and so I went 1 year to vocational school and got that training. I've never used it professionally, but at the time I was really sick. I wasn't married, and I needed something to keep my mind off of being sick, so I went to school to do that, and it was only a couple of hours a day, so I was able to peel my head off the couch and do it. I have chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. We did a video on that, and so at that time I was really, really sick, but I didn't want to just sit at home on the couch doing nothing, so I was able to go to school, so I did that. Let's see. I'm going to do one more check here for questions. I don't think so. Okay, guys. I am going to sign off, and I thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the tour of my garden.
See you, YouTube.
There's Dave saying goodbye. The kids are getting a big kick out of this. So anyway, we will see you at 12 p.m. Mountain Time. Mom and I are going to be talking about how she lived on $500 a month and raised 2 teenagers, what she did, and her kind of story. So please check back at 12 Mountain Time. We'll see you then.